All right, we're back here. It's Full Ride on this Thursday. We're in a celebratory mood. It's championship weekend in the world of college football. Things are really heating up in the world of college basketball, women's and men's. We got a lot of good non-conference stuff happening all over the country, all these preseason tournaments, even outside the country. There's been a lot of good stuff happening in the Cayman Islands and Bahamas and all that kind of stuff. So let's get into it with a real mover and shaker in the world of women's basketball. Vic Schaefer is our guest, the head coach of Texas. They got UConn this weekend. What a weekend if you're a Longhorn fan. Big 12 championship in football Saturday, UConn game on Sunday. It's hook'em time and then some. Coach Schaefer, a pleasure. It's good to have you. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Thanks a lot for having me. It's a special weekend, a great day to be a Longhorn. We also got a volleyball regional here. You know, our volleyball team's the defending national champion, and so we got lots going on. But appreciate y'all having me on.
There's a
it's our
ton
pleasure, Coach.
going on. Yeah, go ahead, Ricky. I'm sorry.
No. Vic, I'm sitting here looking at your bio. It says you're an Aggie. Your alma mater is an Aggie, and you're sitting there in Austin, Texas. How do you reconcile the two? I mean, this is not easy to do, Vic. You talk about drawing up a play or two, but holy smokes, finding a way to Austin via Texas A&M, that isn't easy to do.
Hey, Rick, first of all, I followed your career a long time as a young coach, and a lot of respect and admiration for what you've done in your career. So it's a real honor to be on here with you. But you're right. I'm probably the only coach in the history of the school that went to school at the other place. I coached at the other place, won a national championship over there, and now I'm here. But the answer is real simple. When CDC hired me, he says, "Man, I'm going to have a lot to answer for." I go, "Look, all you got to tell these people around here is that there is nobody in the country that has heard the Eyes of Texas more than me." I know I've heard that song. Most of it was after an ass whipping, on Thanksgiving Day. So I've sat in DKR Stadium on the 48th row in the upper deck on Thanksgiving night with icicles hanging off my baseball cap with my father, the colonel, and, watching a 38-3 beatdown. And, I just have a lot of respect and admiration for this place from the other side, for a long time as a young kid. But growing up in the state, I mean, I know the history and the tradition that this university has. And I can tell you, being here the last 4 years, it's really an amazing place. It's the premier job, in my opinion, in my industry, and it was just something that I'd always said if that opportunity came around, I would not turn down. And we obviously had it going at Mississippi State, had a great job there. Love that university. Still have so many dear friends to this day there. Would not have left for any other job, but when this one came open and the opportunity presented itself, there was no way I could say no. So it's a pretty unique deal, I will agree, but man, it's not that hard really when you think about it and when you sit in my chair, I promise you.
No question about it. You guys have a big game coming up. Vic Schaefer, our guest, Texas women's basketball on Sunday against UConn. The day before is the football championship game. We know how much that means to the school, to the state of Texas. Give us an idea of what this season, football-wise, has meant to the campus and even to you in recruiting and just the vibe that it brings recruiting weekends for Texas sports in general in Austin.
Well, there's no question that the atmosphere in DKR is so special. And our people here have done a tremendous job in making it an incredible place. It's a great home field advantage. Coach Sark and I are good friends. I'm so happy for him. We talk a lot more in the off season than right now. But even right now, he sent me a text yesterday morning. We played at 11 yesterday morning. He sent me a text at like 9. Kick ass. today. And, he's just a great guy. Like, I've just really enjoyed spending time with him and sharing philosophies. And he and I both had some culture issues when we came here, and that's been a real, as we all know, that word is a hot word in athletics, and we both had some work to do. And it's just really, because I know him personally, I'm so happy for him and his staff. I know how hard those folks work over there. And, as you know, I mean, when football wins, it's good for everybody. And to see what he's done, and Rick knows this, he's done it in 3 short years, y'all. 5-7, 8-5, and now to be where he is at 11-1 on the cusp of being in a college football playoff, playing for a Big 12 championship. Hey, I can tell you this: we're going to practice early so I can be in front of the TV at 11. I'm going to be a little selfish on Saturday, but again, my kids will too. To be honest with you, my kids are going to be in front of the TV. My kids want to go early because it is so important for all of us. I mean, we all are so excited for them. And so for our fan base, man, you talk about an incredibly passionate and has been starving for a while football fan base. And, but our fan base in general for every sport. I mean, guys, look, I'm going to tell you something. 2 years ago, we're in the Elite Eight. We finished 5th in the country. We had just won the Learfield Cup for the first time of 2 back-to-back. I'm sitting in a head coaches meeting with 19 other head coaches, Rick. Rick's been there. There are 10 programs in that room that played for the national championship that either finished first or second. We finished 5th, and we were in the Elite Eight, and that's not even good enough at Texas to be in the top half. That's how elite and special this place is. So, when you're surrounded by greatness like everybody else, there's a responsibility, and you feel it as a student athlete, as a coach, to be the best you can be. You got to carry your weight, right? So it is a special time. Football is, and I love it. I tell Sark, I told him in a text the other day, Rick, I said, hey, in my next life, I'm going to be your defensive coordinator. I'm going to rush one more than you can block, and I'm going to man up on the outside. So all you got to do is hang on for about 2 or 3 seconds, and I'm going to get to that quarterback.
I love listening to your passion about athletics in general, because that's what resonates for all of us in the world of coaching. We just love it. Can't imagine doing anything else. Speaking of greatness, you're going to be playing against a guy in Gino Auriemma that personifies it in terms of what he's accomplished in this sport. It's off the charts. And yet kind of what he built is now coming back. Your strengths or your weaknesses. He built such a culture in women's basketball that it started to attract more and more women to want to play women's basketball. Now we're seeing all kinds of parity, and people are starting to catch up, which in some ways is another way to complement what he got accomplished during his monster run there at UConn. What do you think of when you sit there and think about the career of Gino Auriemma?
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, I'm at a place where Jody Conrad won 186 or 183 consecutive Southwest Conference and Big 12 games. I mean, it's amazing what she did for our sport. And then you've got Pat Summitt, and then you had Gino arriving at a place, in Connecticut, and what he's been able to do. I mean, I have so much respect and admiration for him. And you're right, what he's done. And now there is so much parity in our game. I mean, you see it now everywhere. And, I think what you have to really, and I've played against him before, obviously. I've had some history with his teams. And I think the thing that always strikes me, everybody, offensively, he's always so good. But his teams are really good defensively. And I think that, from a standpoint of what you're talking about with parity, he's always had those great teams and with a lot of great players. I mean, guys, back in 15, I played him in the Sweet 16 up in Bridgeport. He beat us 60 in the Sweet 16, probably the best college basketball team in the history of our game. beat us 60, 98-38. Have a piece of that crow. You know, that's a tough one to swallow. Yet in athletics,
still sitting in the back,
Coach,
still sitting in the back of your throat there, Vic.
Oh, well, no, I got rid of it a year later because we played him in the Final Four in Dallas, and only in athletics 365 days later do you get a chance at redemption. And my team, the same team that got beat 60, gets an opportunity at redemption, and we beat them in overtime in the Final Four in Dallas in my home state. But that's athletics, right? And so,
right.
You know, it's just really incredible what him and his staff, Coach Daly, his longtime assistant. I mean, you just have to really admire and respect the consistency that he's been able to do it over such a long period of time. And that's what we all strive for, right, Coach? I mean, we're all trying to develop that consistency where year in and year out, you're among the elite. And I think that's where, obviously what he's done, and you just have to admire what he's done and how he's done it. And, but again, I think now, like you said, there's just a lot of parity. All the great players aren't going to a Tennessee like they did in the old days, or, even in Connecticut in today's world. They're going to a lot of other places because administrations are now committed to women's athletics. And that's probably been the biggest change in the last 15 or 20 years, is that there's that commitment.
It's been long overdue, and you're seeing the result of it, and it's just the game and women's athletics in general just exploding all over the place. We talk about it all the time. I talk about it all the time, how this is invest in women and see what you get, and you get incredible results. And I think women's basketball is a big part of that and a great evidence of that. I'm curious. You have done a really good job bringing in great players over the years, whether it's Mississippi State, when you changed the fortunes there by bringing in a Victoria Vivians, and she was able to attract better players like Tierra McGowan, and you took off. Right now at Texas, you're doing the exact same thing. It's pretty darn incredible. One of the players that's really rocking and rolling lately has been Rory Harmon. I was just reading about her in The Athletic. What a great piece they did on her. But give us an idea of what she has done to develop into such a well-rounded, not just an offensive player, but a great defender as well.
Guys, there's what I'm going to tell you about Rory Harmon. There's not another player in the country like her. Her statistics are off the chart night in and night out. Going into last night's I'm going to see if I can find the stats here real quick. I can't. But going into last night's game, she's the only player in the country averaging the numbers she's averaging from points, assists, steals. It's an unbelievable number what she's doing. And on top of that, y'all, she picks up 94 feet and guards baseline to baseline. She'll step in front of a freight train and take a charge. She's just way different than anybody in the country. Right now for us, it's just, she runs our team. She's shooting 48% from the field, getting 5.5 rebounds a game. She's already had 7 assists. She averaged over 7 assists a game and over 3 steals a game. Now, and hadn't turned the ball over more than one time a game, averaging 11.8 points a game, almost 12 points a game. And then again, like I said, on top of that, she's going to pick your butt up at the city limit and show you the door when we're done with you. I mean, she's just that good. And there's nobody else in the country like it. I would challenge you to find me another player that impacts the game like she does and plays as hard as she does. And she's done it, y'all, in just 25 minutes a game. Like, she's averaging 27 minutes a game on all of that. 5.5 rebounds, 7 assists, over 3 steals a game. She's just, an incredible player. Motor off the chart. And again, just impacts the game on both ends of the floor. I mean, when people go through a scout, you got to talk about her on both ends. Because if you turn your back on her, she's going to make you pay on both ends of the floor. And I just, again, we're fortunate to have her. She's a great kid, wonderful parents, but just is an unbelievable player, y'all. And we've got some good ones here. Booker, our freshman kid, is really, really good, one of the elite freshmen in the country. Our recruiting class we've got coming in was ranked number 1 in the country. Those 3 young ladies coming in, number 7, number 8, number 39 in the country. So we had some work to do when we got here, and we're doing that. My staff is incredible. They're the best in the business. I call them the A-team, but you're right. Rory Harmon, she is so unique and so special, and just really, again, impacts the game a number of ways.
Coach, I know you're busy, but I got to ask one more question. And by the way, I wrote that down. She'll pick your butt up at the city limit. That's going in my arsenal. I promise you, I'm going to use that one. Yeah. You have a love affair with this. It's clear listening to you how much you enjoy what you do. You couldn't imagine being without it. And I so respect that. I so love that because I had the same love affair with this game while I was in it. What is your concern level with what's going on? Now, we all know that given the money that's coming in, that the kids deserve some of it. They deserve to be compensated for the way they pour themselves into this sport and such. But how can we go about this in a organized method so that we don't just throw the baby out with the bathwater here? We've got such a great sport, and it's growing so exponentially that sometimes we don't have our arms around it. From your vantage point, what needs to be done so that we not only keep our eye on the ball for our sports, but also remember that these kids are going, as the NCAA commercial says, going pro in something other than just women's basketball or football or what have you. We got to make sure that the education's being addressed and they're getting what they came for, which is an experience at a university that they're going to want for their children.
Well, I'm very concerned. I've been coaching 39 years. So the first one is I'm very concerned. You're right. I absolutely love what I do, Coach. I love these kids. I love being around them every day. I have a great group of kids, man. They are, if we can't do something, it because they aren't trying. You know what I mean? And you've been around those teams, right? You might not be able to do something, but it isn't because they're not trying. I have an unbelievable locker room and just an incredible group of young ladies that I just love being around. I mean, they're just fun to be around. They're great kids, and I love coaching them. And I love coaching in general. And I agree with you. Our student athletes deserve something. But here's the problem, Coach, and it is a problem, whether we admit it or not. This is the biggest problem. Unfortunately, in our game, people are using this as an inducement. You are not supposed to use NIL as an inducement. And people are doing that.
Yeah,
and
it's pay for play. It's pay for play. There's no way around it.
But you're not supposed to be able to do that.
All right.
Right? You're not supposed to be able to talk to them when you're recruiting them about that. That's something that's supposed to happen post-recruitment. You're not supposed to use that as an inducement in recruiting, but it's happening. And that, to me, is where the evil lies. And, I can't speak for any other sports, but I can speak for my own. I know what's going on, and I think you, me, everyone is seeing that you're getting problems on teams because of it. There's teams in my industry right now that are crumbling because
100%.
of it. And it's, in every And so that's where, to me, you can't not do things. You can't not govern because you're scared. Like, you didn't coach because you were scared of something. There's nothing I don't do because I'm scared to do that. Like, I've been doing it 39 years. I'm too far down the road to just all of a sudden change. Like, Bill Self made a great comment. He goes, you can't get on somebody's rear because they're afraid they're just going to take their ball and go somewhere else. Well, I don't think Coach Self is changing. And I think kids, the great players, you and I both know, great players crave discipline. They crave structure. They want it. They know it's necessary. That's part of being a parent. Like, everything I do has parental instincts in it. And I think that's why my parents have their kids here. It's why we didn't lose anybody in the portal, because we do everything here with parental instincts. We're going to love them. We're going to take care of them, but we're going to provide that structure and discipline that I know all my players that I currently have had in their homes with their own parents. But I think that's wherein lies our problem right now in college athletics, is because people are just scared to do the right thing. Are you kidding me? Like, I just don't get that, y'all. I just don't get it. I mean, I'm the son of a bird colonel in the United States Army. That never entered into the Schaefer household, I can assure you. And we're going to do things, and I take great pride in doing things the right way, being accountable. If it's not, here's the thing, and you know this too, Coach. You're either coaching it or allowing it. That's it. You're either coaching it or allowing it. So you got to make up your mind, what you're comfortable with. And I'm concerned, Coach, because I love college athletics. Like, I love football. Like, I love baseball. Like, I don't miss any of it. I go to all of it. I love it. And it's very concerning. But, this is where we're at right now. And it's like Coach Sark and I were talking one day. And it's a great comment, because we all know things have changed and it's different now. But here's the deal. There was a thing called the dinosaur a long time ago. They couldn't figure it out. What happened? They became extinct. We better figure it out, or we're going to become extinct, either as coaches or as an industry. And that's what concerns me. And I just love what college, the experience, the athletic piece, I just love all that about life. That's where you learn your life lessons, and you develop your discipline and your structure and your focus, your intentionality. And man, I see all that being a real concern.
We got a lot of parents and recruits, Vic, wanting your phone number right now. Can we give it to them?
Well, I don't know, Coach. I just know that I love what I do. I love my kids. I love this university. It's just a unique place. I'm so blessed. I'm so lucky. Good Lord's been blessed. He's been so good to me, and I try to repay it and do it the right way. I'm not perfect either. I'm a poor, miserable sinner just like the next guy, but it ain't because I ain't trying. And you ask, and I'm telling you, I'm concerned, and it's troubling. But at the end of the day, you know this too, Coach. You can get wrapped up in things you can't control, or all you can do is, you know what, I'm going to worry about the things I can control, and I'm just going to focus on that. And you know what? A lot of times you become a better coach when you do that. When you just stop worrying about the things you can't control and you just worry about the things you can, you become a better coach. You become a better father, a husband, a dad, a mentor. And so that's my choices. I just choose to do that. And we believe good things happen to good people. And that's the way we're always going to try to do it. Again, not perfect, but we try. I'm still living for the shutout, Coach. We held the team the other night to 2 points in the first quarter, and they scored it on the last possession of the first quarter. And when the team came over at the time between the first and second quarter, they were looking at me going, Coach, we almost pitched that shutout for you for a quarter because they know that's my dream. It'll never happen, but man, I'm trying. I'm coaching to be. You try to practice perfect, you try to play perfect. It's never going to happen, but man, you're trying. So anyway, you guys have been great. I appreciate y'all so much.
Thank you, Coach.
Got a big one Sunday against a guy and a team that we have a lot of respect and admiration for, but our Longhorns are going to show up and they're going to play their guts out, and we'll see what happens.
Wish you the best, Coach.
To you. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. I know we're going to do this again soon, and Rick, remind me, we got to ask him what it's like to coach with his daughter, because that certainly is an interesting thing we talk about a lot when it talk, Iowa and Kirk Ferentz and all that. So they got a good going on, him and Blair, but we'll talk about that another time. Coach Schaefer, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it. Thank you.
I appreciate y'all and all you do for college athletics. Rick, again, appreciate you. And just know I've followed you a long, long time. But thanks again for the time, guys. Really appreciate it. Y'all have a great day. Praise the Lord and hook 'em horns.
Hook 'em. See you, my friend.
He's fun. I like
Oh,
him
my
a lot.
goodness.
Yeah, he's cool.
I got 5 different texts. I got 5 different texts from my friends saying, I want to listen to this guy all day.
He's the man. He's the man. He's the man.